The big political story tonight. Rajnath Singh, the Home Minister, has announced an internal probe into what he calls missing documents related to the Ishrat Jehan encounter. The Ishrat Jehan case returning to haunt the Congress, the subject of a fierce political debate inside Parliament today. A debate in which, ironically, the Congress did not participate. The controversy resurrected after the former Home Secretary G.K. Pillai accusing the former Home Minister P. Chidambaram of having altered an affidavit to suggest that Ishrat Jehan did not have terror links. Chidambaram going on record to NDTV to say, "I did own that decision, but the then Home Secretary saw the changed affidavit as well." Let's introduce our panel today with a question that we are asking. As politics engulfs the Ishrat story, is truth now the casualty? From the BJP, we're joined by Nalin Kohli, its party spokesperson. From the Congress, Dr. Abhishek Singhvi, Member of Parliament, senior spokesperson, is also with us. Vrinda Grover, activist and lawyer for Ishrat Jehan's family, is joining us on the program. Kalikesh Singh, who took a very interesting line in Parliament today, accusing both the BJP and the Congress of having politicized the issue, is also on the program with us. Satyapal Singh, he's a member of Parliament of the BJP, a former police commissioner. He made claims in Parliament today that he was under pressure from the Congress. We'll be hearing from him in a moment from now. And Ashok Malik, well-known author and commentator, is with us as well. Let me start by asking you, Dr. Singhvi, how you react to the Home Minister actually saying, and it is disturbing, that certain files have gone missing, that the letters from the Home Secretary to the Attorney General are missing, that amendments that the then Attorney General made to the draft of the second affidavit are missing as well. An internal probe now ordered by Rajnath Singh.
Barkha, let me start by saying I have heard nothing of what you are saying except your last question to me that I have heard. You have to do something about the audio. It's extremely unclear. Secondly, since I have heard the question and nothing before what you said, I don't know the background, but certainly it's a very serious issue, but I am mystified. This issue is told to the country by no less than the Home Ministry or the Home Minister almost just under 2 years after this government has come into power. Now, obviously, this is something which has happened in the recent past, if it has happened. And if it has happened under the watch of this government, the first thing they should do is to ensure that they find out how, when, where the files vanished. Obviously, the context makes it a very recent episode. Secondly, there are methodologies and established procedures for file movements in government departments, especially highly sensitive files.
Okay.
That file movement register should not make it difficult to find out. But what is the point? What is the innuendo? What is the insinuation? I hope to God that the insinuation is not that 2 years after a new government has taken place, when, according to us, a lot of issues are being made on the issue of the guilt of Ishrat Jehan, which is not really the issue. The issue is whether guilty or innocent, a liquidation in an encounter of a person yet to be tried for guilt. When that is being bandied around by the government, I hope the innuendo and the insinuation is not that we have something to do with these files or their vanishing.
Let me put that
because
straight
I can
to
only
Nalin.
ascribe
Let me
to
put
an
that to
innuendo.
Nalin. Let me put that to Nalin. Nalin, we
And
heard.
I think one last thing, Barkha.
Yeah.
One last thing, Barkha.
Yeah.
The more this kind of innuendo is spread, I think the more hit wicket and self-culpability is established. Because surely, with the entire might of the 56-inch chest Modi government, 2 years into their tenure, such sensitive files ought not to be lost.
Okay.
And they are responsible accountable for giving an answer.
Let me put that to Nalin now straight away. Okay, let me put that to Nalin. Nalin, the allegation from Abhishek Singhvi is that these missing files have actually gone missing on the watch of the BJP. Secondly, a large part of the BJP positioning on Ishrat has been based on G.K. Pillai's statements. But you have seen, as all of us have seen, an earlier statement from G.K. Pillai on camera talking about giving Ishrat Jehan the benefit of the doubt. So when Rajnath Singh talks about the flip-flops of the Congress, you will have to factor in the flip-flops of the former Home Secretary as well.
I'll take a few minutes because I think we need to look at it in correct perspective, and we'll start with the tense that you've used in your question originally. That is politics being played, and is truth being made a casualty? Actually, truth has been a casualty and politics has been played. And that's exactly why we need to go to the background. Ishrat Jehan has died in an encounter. The question whether that encounter is fake or a real encounter is under investigation. Within that, there was a David Headley clear admission that said that she was a terrorist, a sleeper module. Additionally, the Lashkar-e-Taiba had accepted her as a martyr, as one of ours. All of this was on the record. The original affidavit clearly pointed towards this. The revised affidavit clearly moved to clear this out and paint her as a victim, as someone innocent, and paint her in the light that no, she wasn't a terrorist. That's the start, and that's the critical point.
Yeah.
Now, if you paint her in that way, it immediately could be a way to kind of point that the encounter was fake. That means if she was a terrorist, that she died in an encounter would have changed the approach than if she was not a terrorist, a simple citizen like you and me, and had died in an encounter. That background is equally important.
Okay.
Now let's go beyond it.
Yeah.
We're going beyond it. We've heard a whole series of things coming out over the last few weeks, last 2 or 3 weeks in particular.
Yeah.
All of them, and David Headley's
testimony
in the 2611 testimony has added to it.
Yeah.
So the Congress finds itself on the back foot. So what does the Congress do in such a situation? Immediately says, let's go into the realm of innuendo, let's go to the 56 Chhati and try to see and say that the government is at fault.
When did the files go missing?
First,
When did the files go missing?
What has Mr. Rajnath Singh said?
When did the files go missing? When did the files go missing?
With Dr. Singhvi, with your indulgence, let me finish. I'm sure you'll have a counter.
Yeah.
So therefore, let's go one by one. Mr. Rajnath Singh has clearly, as the Home Minister, informed us the file is not at the moment traceable. Now, is the file lost? Has there been any kind of thing that has happened that has made the file disappear? That's exactly what's being investigated. All the truth will come out. No one would be more interested in the entire truth to happen than us. Because after all, on this Ishrat Jehan issue, the targeting of Prime Minister, then the Chief Minister of Gujarat, Mr. Modi, has been the constant agenda, even when he was not linked to it.
Abhishek, a one-sentence interjection because I have to go to Satyapal and Vrinda and Kalikesh and Ashok. So very quickly, Abhishek.
I won't take time. But little more than a sentence. Of course, my point about it being ludicrous to even make an innuendo about the file missing 2 years into this government, innuendo about us, that point remains unanswered. The second issue is crucial. Whether a terrorist or not, you had to establish her guilt and execute her as we did Kasab and Afzal Guru.
Yeah.
But neither event can justify an encounter, and in case everybody is forgetting Barkha, the district level, the High Court, the SIT and the CBI, 4 written reports and findings that she is liquidated in an encounter.
Okay, let me just get in Satyapal Singh.
That is 4 levels of findings.
Let me get in Satyapal Singh. Now, Satyapal Singh, who's a member of the BJP, today said in Parliament that he resigned from the SIT because of political pressure. But at that time, Satyapal ji, आपने बोला था कि you have resigned because आपको गुजराती नहीं समझ आती. In fact, you resigned from the SIT within 8 days. So why has it taken you 12 years to come out with this statement जो आज आपने बोली है?
That is number one. First is Barkha, I did not resign after 8 days. That is wrong. Number one. I worked for more than a month there. That is, I submitted every month. We are supposed to submit.
In 8 days, you said you wanted to resign. Am I correct? 8 दिन में आपने बोला you want to resign.
Pardon?
In 8 days, you said you want to resign. And
there was a
within 1
reason
month you
for
had
it.
resigned. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it is not that. I would like to clarify the matter.
Okay.
Number one, I had made it very clear that all the witnesses who have been examined before I took over as the chairman of the SIT, I would like to re-examine them, and I would like to satisfy myself in front of the 2 other members of the SIT. That was number one.
Okay.
Because I had got these complaints that there are some statements have been recorded which are not correct.
Yes.
And in the first few days,
yes,
when I got re-examined these 8 witnesses,
yes,
who had earlier claimed that there was a prior police custody of Ishrat Jehan as well as Javed Sheikh,
yes,
when all these 8 witnesses were examined in front of the SIT,
yes,
including Mr. Satish Verma, all these 8 witnesses, they turned hostile and they told very clearly before us that they never said such kind of thing. They never saw this Ishrat Jehan or neither this blue color Indica car.
Yes.
And at that time, I had taken a decision. The officer who had recorded their statements, after getting the directions from Mr. Satish Verma, I made a written order that this man henceforth will never work in SIT.
But why did you not
At
say
that
this
time,
then?
when this
Why
all
did you
eight
not say
witnesses
this back
became
then? Sir,
Pardon?
why did you not say this then? At that time you said you were quitting because you did not understand Gujarati. If all this happened, why did you not say this
see,
then?
there was so many other things. You cannot make. But I was an officer. I can't come and start speaking against the political leaders, the way it was being handled, the way this High Court was handling the whole issue, the way the SIT was constituted. All these things were very questionable.
Okay, let me get Vrinda Grover in now. Vrinda, the point is that many senior people who were involved in the process, from G.K. Pillai to Satyapal Singh, are now talking about political pressure from the Congress used to manipulate the truth. The changed affidavit, Satyapal Singh's statements today, the Headley testimony to NIA, and now Rajnath Singh saying the missing files. How do you react?
See, but I'm speaking as Shamima Kausar's lawyer here, and I was appearing for her both in Gujarat High Court as well as in the Supreme Court. Firstly, Shamima Kausar's writ petition of August 2004, before either Congress or BJP had even heard of this case, had been filed, and it is that case in which finally the CBI lodges an FIR. It had nothing to do with the Congress party. May I also point out here, Mr. Nalin Kohli said the matter is still under investigation. Actually, 2 charge sheets have been filed. Why the prosecution and the trial is not commencing is my question. The fact that so many senior officers after so many years are saying this, I am saying as a lawyer and as a citizen, this is highly distressing. Mr. Satyapal Singh would well recall that he had engaged a private counsel through whom an application was filed, saying that he does not know Gujarati and that Mr. P.P. Pandey is his batchmate and is reluctant to interrogate him. I am speaking from the record of the Gujarat High Court. It is noted in the order. He was selected as one of the officers who would chair the SIT. He was the head of the SIT. If there were concerns, and the SIT reports were always given in sealed cover, what is alarming and is causing me concern today is that what is underlying what Mr. Singh is saying, who is now a BJP MP, being one of the only commissioners of police to having resigned while still a commissioner of police, he is saying that he is wondering what the Gujarat High Court was up to. Are we going to destroy every institution? The people of this country have reposed their faith in the judiciary. And I'm afraid that today, both in Parliament and again on this show, there are things being said which is a direct attack on the integrity of the High Court, a division bench of the Gujarat High Court, where we were sent because that was the forum. This was not some place we chose. Next, I want to say, if the files are missing, who stands to gain and who stands to lose? Shamima Kausar's quest since 2004 till 2016. Trials are not commencing, sanction is not being granted. And if you read the supplementary charge sheet, it says very, very clearly criminal conspiracy between the IB and the Gujarat police. Who stands to gain? Who else but the accused persons? Surely that's not something that we have to be mystified about.
Let me just go to Kalikesh and Ashok, and then everybody else can come in on what they've heard so far. Kalikesh, your argument in Parliament today was that both of these parties, the BJP and the Congress, are guilty of politicizing the issue. And politics, the noise of politics is so loud that the truth has become elusive. How do you see what's unfolding so far?
Barka, I stand by what I said in Parliament today. I think in the first instance, the Congress party either accidentally or intentionally allowed the investigation to go in a manner in which at least a shadow of blame can fall on the Gujarat government and in turn the incumbent chief minister. And that's a shame actually, because if the investigations had gone properly, we probably could have arrived at a conclusive decision on whether the entire incident was a terrorist attack or not. And we are talking about terrorism. And now the BJP is reviving the entire issue up, trying to insinuate that the Congress was trying to frame the then chief minister. And in all this din, the only issue they talk about is whether Ishrat Jehan was a terrorist or not. And that's really not an issue. The issue is whether the encounter was fake or was genuine. Because even if the encounter was genuine and she happened to be innocent, she could be collateral damage, and that's understandable. It happens at times of incidents like this. But even if she's a terrorist and she has been killed deliberately in cold blood, I think that's murder, and then justice should prevail.
Yeah, I think that's reasonably said, Ashok, and would possibly reflect the position of most Indians looking on at this, who see Ishrat as having become a chessboard on which both of these parties are placing their pawns.
See, there are three separate issues here. One, encounter deaths, they take place all the time. They've taken place before, they will regrettably take place later. But each encounter death is a problem. Okay, there's no question of that. And if the policeman in question gets caught with evidence of a fake encounter, he or she has to suffer. There's no question of that. So if there's enough evidence against these people, if the court, against Manzara and other police officers, if the courts end up believing what Vrinda Grover is saying, then they will get punished. I have no illusions about that. Having said that, while it is important for us to know whether this was a fake encounter or not, as it is in many other cases, it is equally important for us to know whether Ishrat Jahan was a willing LET accomplice or whether she was a completely innocent person. That is also important. Legally, in the court of law, they may have the second point may have no relevance, because false encounter is a false encounter. But politically, it certainly has big resonance. Vrinda spoke about institutions being important. She's completely right. The IB is also an institution which should have a certain integrity.
Okay.
The IB as a professional body, and the IB can make mistakes, as all bodies can. The courts can make mistakes, the IB can make mistakes, you can make mistakes, we all can. But an IB officer sends a report saying Ishrat Jahan has these connections. The Home Minister of the country decides to override that. We don't know why he does it. Certainly people have a right to know.
Let me put that to Abhishek Singhvi. Abhishek Singhvi, while the central question remains, was
can
this
I just come in there, Barkha, can I come in there? I could answer that question
okay,
perhaps
okay,
better.
Okay,
this
go
is
ahead.
not for the Congress to answer.
Okay, go ahead, Vrinda,
I
and then
just
Abhishek.
point out two quick things. Just two quick things. Okay, if Ashok says that we should know whether she was a terrorist or not. Today it was said in Parliament, and I take huge objection as the lawyer and as a woman, that what was she doing with the 4 men? Please read the charge sheet and the supplementary charge sheet. Jishan Johar was under IB surveillance from the last week of April 2004. Amjad Ali had been taken into custody in April 2004. And these two, Javed and Ishrat, were picked up on 12th of June 2004. They were not all together, as is being repeatedly put out. Nobody, the IB in the first affidavit does not say that Ishrat Jahan is a terrorist. The first affidavit says Indian newspapers looking at Ghazwa Times say she is Lashkar. The same affidavit says Business Standard newspaper looking at Jamaat Dawa says that they have now said an apology, she is not Lashkar. There is no intelligence input in the first affidavit.
Okay, let me take this to Abhishek and Nalin. Abhishek, the point is, Vrinda will argue as the lawyer that in fact the first affidavit was based on media reports, and that's what she's saying. But there is still a very strong perception that a minister cannot unilaterally change an affidavit, dictate the draft, as Mr. Chidambaram even acknowledges that he did with the second affidavit.
Barkha, I think we are being very economical with the facts in many of the statements I'm hearing. First, it's a no-brainer that the guilt or innocence of Ishrat is not only irrelevant but has been made irrelevant by whoever killed her, because that deprived an opportunity for her to be convicted or acquitted. Even a prima facie finding by a court would have dealt her the same hand as Afzal Guru or Kasab. Well, those who did it, whoever they were, to protect whosoever then in power, deprived her of the opportunity. You should have convicted her fair and square and executed her. Second no-brainer is that the liquidation encounter cannot be a matter of doubt that we are a proud democracy, unlike the wrecks and ruins of constitutionalism in our neighborhood. We take pride that we try and execute.
Okay.
Now third,
nobody's disagreeing with that.
issue,
Nobody's disagreeing
the
with that.
Chidambaram issue, Barkha, is very important. Chidambaram has never denied the affidavit.
No, he is not.
He has also added something which all of us are ignoring. He has never said in the affidavit that I am vouching for the innocence or guilt. He has been very careful and clear that irrespective of that guilt, if there is evidence about encounter or forced handling, that has to be gone into.
Let me take that to Nalin.
That's all.
Let me take that to Nalin.
So what is this hullabaloo about?
Nalin, what is the
And
hullabaloo
number
about?
4 and last,
Yeah.
I am not going to the extent which Vrinda Grover is going. She may be right, but I have a different stand. If indeed the IB affidavit was hearsay or wrong, it's a different issue. That's not the Congress stand. That may be Ms. Grover's stand.
Yeah.
But certainly the stand of the second affidavit was
No,
that
that's not
encounter
affidavit.
is not something we are opining about in the first one. We are
Okay.
opining about her guilt or innocence.
Now,
That is
now,
different
for
from
the
encounter
record,
issue.
Nalin, there are two crucial differences between Affidavit 1 and Affidavit 2. Affidavit 1 speaks of Ishrat having terror links based on a slew of media reports, including the Lashkar's own mouthpiece. Affidavit 1 also talks about the need for a CBI probe. Affidavit about how there's no need. I beg your pardon. No need for a CBI probe. No need for a CBI probe. Affidavit 2 says we're open to a CBI probe and removes references to Ishrat as a terrorist, which Chidambaram later says were only inputs, not proof. Please go ahead and respond.
Well, I mean, I'll say my
Yeah.
training also, since there are now 3 advocates on this program,
Yeah.
is also, I'll go by the exact words. I
Yeah.
won't go by what is spoken in a program. So
Okay.
let's have the affidavits and let's compare it by paragraph.
We have the affidavits. I have the affidavits in front of
yeah.
me. Yes.
Yeah, so therefore from that, the important issue is what the words are used. Now, why are we saying there's a big hullabaloo here?
Yeah.
The big hullabaloo is because this is a pattern in the UPA and Congress. This is not the only affidavit that's changed. There was also an attempt to change the affidavit for which a former law minister had to resign. It is no joke that the castigation took place regularly at the Supreme Court, in which institutions of the government, and we need to protect each one of those institutions, not only the court, including the IB, including the human rights, each institution has to be kept
Where have we gone?
and
Okay,
protected.
okay.
So therefore, the point is, in that entire thing, the compromises that took place was there. Why? Of the encounters, obviously if an encounter is fake, they have to come under the might of the law. Who says it shouldn't be so? But the extra effort on an encounter in Gujarat, whereas in the other parts of the state, a complete blanket, no looking at it. So there was a political interest.
Okay.
And all the statements that are coming out here, the change of the affidavit, the fact of trying to paint Ishrat as a non-terrorist, all of it, you have to be politically blind not to see the message.
Let me get Kalikesh in. Kalikesh, one of the BJP MPs today, Nishikant Dubey, said rather dramatically, will Modi have to die for the Congress to act? Now, clearly, at the heart of the politics of this is Narendra Modi. The BJP believes the Congress was trying to frame him. The Congress believes this is the BJP batting for Mr. Modi and discounting the fake encounter. How do you see it as a third party?
No, I think I said it quite plainly in the Parliament today. Given the kind of evidence and proof that they have on Ishrat Jehan, and I've read the affidavits, I've also read excerpts of the IB report as well as the report laid down by CBI, the charge sheet laid down by CBI. You know, my point was very simple. Tomorrow, if Mr. Modi's name comes up in some third world, mouthpiece of some terrorist organization, would he be called guilty? Would he be called a terrorist? And more importantly, would he be taken out in the middle of the street and shot down? Is that the kind of justice we are looking for? The fact that this incident happened is one thing. The fact that the Congress and the BJP are deliberately trying to brainwash the people of the country, strike emotive notes, talk about nationalistic jingoism and national versus anti-national, I think that's ridiculous. This whole conversation has gone too far. Focus on the case, focus on the facts of the case, do your job as a government, finish the investigation, finish the case and let justice prevail. That's what's required, not this rubbish which is going on in Parliament.
Let me put that to Satyapal Singh. Satyapal Singh, you made a statement today saying a senior Congress leader wanted me to implicate the then Gujarat CM. You're obviously talking about Mr. Modi. Who is this senior Congress leader? Why do you not name this leader?
See, everything has been discussed today in the Parliament, and I don't think there is further need of doing any endorsement about it.
No, who is this
what
Congress
I mentioned
leader?
in Parliament,
Sir,
I
who is
still
this Congress
stand by
leader?
it.
You say put pressure on you.
Second thing, before replying to it, I would like to what Vrinda Grover was telling.
Yeah.
May I ask Vrinda Grover, who was funding her, who was the leader from the NCP, who was paying her charges, what were her political motive? His political motive? Why he has engaged her? And why he was paying the money for the Ishrat Jehan family?
No, who are you naming?
It
Why
was
don't you
not
name
the money
name?
coming from the Ishrat Jehan.
Mr. Singh, why don't you, instead of
Yeah.
making innuendo, directly say what you're saying?
No, it was
आप सीधा
Jitendra
बोलिए ना,
Award
क्या
from
बोलना
NCP.
चाहते- Sorry?
Jitendra Award, MLA from NCP who has engaged her.
And what does that prove? I will let Vrinda answer that, but what does that prove according to you? Because she will then say you're a BJP MP today, so why should we take your neutrality for granted?
No. See, at that time, when my name was name was announced on the TV in the media, almost immediately Jitendra Award contacted me, and I remember I had also spoken to Vrinda Grover. He made me to speak to her.
Okay, I must allow Vrinda to come in on this. Vrinda, go ahead.
Two things. I'm glad Mr. Satyapal Singh remembers that phone call. Can I tell Mr. Satyapal Singh, I never knew him. Should I now tell the world what you said in that phone call to me, Mr. Satyapal Singh? I was alarmed when I got that call. You said to me, tell the court, I don't want to be the head of the SIT. This is before you had joined. Before you knew whether the witnesses were being coerced or not coerced. You made a phone call to me and you have brought it up now. And you said, you tell the division bench of the Gujarat High Court, I don't wish to be the head of the SIT.
No, it is totally false. It is totally false. What she is telling on the national TV, it is totally false.
Let me finish.
It was totally false. No,
now he doesn't
it
have
is
the
totally
guts
false.
to hear the truth. Now keep quiet and listen. Barkha, I will have my say now.
Go ahead.
He then tells me, I don't know Gujarati. And I laughed and I said, sir, neither do I. Then he said, Mr. P.P. Pandey is my batchmate. I said, many senior police officers will be your batchmate, sir. I'm sure as a senior officer, you know how to conduct your work. Then came the real answer. He said, I am soon to be made the Mumbai
It is all totally false. I never spoke to her about all these things. And all this Jitendra Award, and they all wanted that I should help them. It is totally
false.
false.
Don't run away from this now.
It is false.
Barkha, please let me have an uninterrupted say. This is not fair.
Complete your point, Vrinda. Complete your point and let Satyapal Singh react to it. Complete your point. Very quickly, I'm on limited time.
I told him, no, he will not, he doesn't need to react to me. At which I told him he can engage his own lawyer to do his own dirty work. As a senior police officer, he should not be having this communication with me. Now let me come to who engaged me. I am engaged by Shamima Kausar. I do many pro bono cases. I am not funded by anybody, Mr. Satyapal Singh. Do not make defamatory statements because I can speak on facts and from the record. And the record speaks against you. The Gujarat High Court, why did you not give all this in a series?
Okay, I'll allow Ashok to come in and then Satyapal can react.
I'm a little confused between Mr. Singh.
Vrinda, Ashok has a question.
Just a question, who initiated the conversation between Vrinda Grover and Satyapal Singh? Did Mr. Singh contact Ms. Grover, did Ms. Grover contact Mr. Singh?
Mr. Singh, can you...
Satyapal Singh called me.
It was Jitendra Award. It was Jitendra Award. It was Jitendra Award, the NCP MLA who contacted her.
Mr.
And he made me to
Singh,
speak
you are
to her.
a politician, I am not.
Okay, now...
Mr. Ashok Malik, why, Mr. Satyapal Singh, why did he call me? What business did he have calling me?
Okay, Mr. Satyapal Singh, I think you should answer that. You're saying Jitendra Award, the NCP leader, made you speak to her. She says you said, one of the accused is my friend.
A senior police officer is such a bechara that
It is totally what Barkha is telling. It is totally false, totally unbelievable. There was no question at that time. It was just before joining.
Okay.
There was no question of that.
Okay. Now, Kalikesh...
Does he do the beckoning of MLAs?
Okay, Nalin, last comments. Everybody gets 30 seconds. I'll start with you, Nalin. Now, Nalin, you've seen this very disturbing conversation we've just heard. Vrinda Grover says that Mr. Satyapal Singh actually spoke about soon becoming police commissioner, one of the accused being his friend and not knowing Gujarati. Today, Mr. Satyapal Singh is saying there was political pressure on me. 30 seconds, everybody will start with you, Nalin.
Complicated. Look,
yeah.
Payments, if they are made by anybody, would be a matter of record. It's not going to be a matter of conjecture.
Yeah.
Whether it is made or not made, it can be easily verified. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Conversations between two people, obviously, unless it's recorded, is only going to be of accusations. I mean, you and I have a conversation. If it's recorded, then obviously you and I can say that who said what. Otherwise, it's a conversation.
Okay, Kalikesh,
so I would, let it pass by that.
Kalikesh, you spoke today about the rot of the system being reflected in this debate. Go ahead with your last thoughts.
I think it's very sad when two major political parties such as the BJP and the Congress have both, in their own manner, in their own time, when they were in government, taken full advantage of manipulating an investigation to try and score political brownie points. And even now, when the truth is out and when the case is being revived, it's been 14 years or 12 years since this incident happened.
Yeah.
The political parties and the governments are refusing to go on with governing, which is what they should be doing. It's extremely sad that both the BJP and the Congress are hand in glove in this entire manner, and they should be severely total lesson.
Abhishek Singhvi, very quickly, literally everybody gets 20 seconds. Yes.
In all this melee, what is missed out, I think, is the fact that 4 highly qualified judicial bodies concurrently, twice over, 4 times held this to be a fake encounter. 3 of those were invoked by the Gujarat government, going up the ladder from the district court to the high court, then having an SIT, then referring to CBI, in the hope that they would overturn the findings. Each time the findings were affirmed. Now that point is missed out. It is therefore clear, undeniable that Ishrat Jehan died a unnatural death, not through due legal process. Somebody has to be responsible. She didn't die because of a bolt of lightning or an earthquake. And that question is getting lost out in this melee, and I think I charge the BJP that every attempt of theirs is to cloud that question into oblivion.
Okay, Satpal Singh, I ask you again, which Congress leader pressured you? You said a Congress leader pressured you. Why don't you name that person? Quickly.
I had mentioned earlier, it has already been discussed in the parliament. I don't want to further speak on that.
Okay, Vrinda, last thoughts.
But I would like to say at the last,
Yes.
when the national interest gets dominated by the political interest, there is a national disaster.
Okay, Vrinda, very quickly, then Ashok takes the last word. Yeah.
Yes, 3 points. The trial must commence. Let us prosecute those who have been charge sheeted. This charge sheet is filed by the CBI, monitored by a division bench of the Gujarat High Court. Why is there a delay from 2013 to now? Let us commence the trial and let everything be sorted out in a court of law.
Okay.
Secondly, there is no point in making allegations against Ishrat's character, making allegations against the lawyer. These are all red herrings to distract us from the main issue. Thirdly, Mr. Satyapal Singh did not do his duty as a police officer before the Gujarat High Court. Why did he listen to an MLA at all? He left his position to join the BJP party. Need I say more about such a man?
Okay, Ashok, you take the last word.
Well, as I said, you need clarity. We need clarity and closure on whether this was a fake encounter or not, and the trial has to, one way or the other, lead us to that. We also need clarity and closure on whether Ishrat was a willing accomplice, I'm not using the word terrorist, a willing accomplice to an LET cell, or she wasn't.
Yeah.
We need closure on both. But I suspect people's positions are so polarized and formed on this.
Mr. Malik.
Just a moment, please.
Let us speak
if
now,
people's positions are so formed on this that they have already decided one way or the other, and no evidence one way or the other.
But the question cannot be answered in television studios. Due process means that question has to be answered by a court of law, and therefore that trial does have to take place beyond the politics. Nalin, I think we can all agree on that point. We leave it there. Thanking Nalin, Abhishek, Kalikesh, Vrinda, Satyapal Singh and Ashok, leaving it there. Thank you very much.